Destructoid.
We're live? We good? Okay, we are live here with Spot Dodge, a live Nintendo podcast. Today's going to be a little different. Not a lot going on because that rumored full direct never happened. We saw an Indie World recently. We saw a third-party direct, but we still haven't gotten the big mama that everyone has been hoping for. So that's unfortunate. So we're going to talk about a lot about what we're playing and just random news that we find interesting. But here today with me is Greg Vargas, the bearded master. How you doing, Greg?
Hola, papi.
Then we have John Frisha, the ultimate fighter. How you doing, John?
Wow. Now that I'm apparently ultimate, I'm great.
Then we have the 90s baby herself, Mary. Joe. How you doing, Mary?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Good. Coming up with that stuff literally off the top of my head as I was saying it was kind of hard.
I made it
I'm
easy
glad
for you,
you had that
though.
shirt
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Tip of the cap to you for that.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, we're gonna talk about some games, a little bit of news. But before that, if you're new to the show, please leave us a review over on Apple Podcasts. It would really mean a lot. We need to get in that algorithm. Like I said last time, get all up in that algorithm. So please help us out. And on Spotify as well. We're on those two platforms. And please, if you're live with us right now, give us a thumbs up. Tell us that you like our content. That would also be awesome. Now, Mary, do you want to hop right into Fire Emblem? Is that what you're feeling? Because
Yes.
that's kind of what I'm feeling.
So we just had a 3-day weekend, and that's all I did. I turned into just a gremlin. I sat on my couch for 3 days, and I just played Fire Emblem. Three Hopes.
Feral gremlin.
Yes,
Dude,
I
I did
really
the
didn't leave
same
my
thing.
house. Like, I had enough food. I didn't need to go to the grocery store. I just had everything I needed right here at home. It was actually kind of nice not having to leave, but yeah. So
Yeah, I did a very similar thing. Like, I barely left this entire 4-day weekend. I went and drove around and looked at fireworks with my kids, just like driving around the neighborhood because a bunch of people were just having fireworks. So that's all we did for 4th of July. Other than that, I literally played Fire Emblem.
yeah.
This game has still got its hooks in me. I gotta say, it's longer than I expected. And when the end is here, like when I get to it, I will be happy that it ended because I'm sort of getting to the point where it's like, okay, I get the gameplay loop. I've done all the support stuff with all the characters almost. I'm ready for the game to end and I'm ready for the story to conclude. Not to say it's a bad game or anything.
Yeah.
I definitely enjoyed my 45 hours with it, but I am ready to move on. So you said you put in like 50?
Yeah, I think I'm sitting somewhere between 50 and 55 right now. And I think I'm ahead of you by like a chapter. I know we're doing different routes.
Yeah.
But like a really big plot point just happened. So it's starting to make me feel like I'm getting kind of towards the end maybe. And like I'm starting to max out my supports. And usually like those are kind of when it's like, okay, I've had enough time to like have all these characters build relationships with each other. So maybe
Yeah.
we're getting to the end, or maybe I'm just really good at forcing people to talk to each other. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm glad that I haven't recruited everyone that's possible, because if I saw the character and I didn't like how they looked, I was just like, I don't want them in my group. I don't even want. I'll just kill them. So
The very
I-
prejudiced perspective. I don't like the way this person looks.
yeah.
I don't
So I would
like
just
your
kill them because
attitude.
if I would have recruited everyone, then my supports all wouldn't be almost finished. Probably the more people you recruit, the longer it takes to get everyone's support levels all the way up. And it's not like I'm using everyone on the battlefield. I'm using like 8 characters max. So I think it's 8, right? Something like that.
On like the big maps, yeah, like the end of chapter ones. But
It's
usually it's somewhere around 4, yeah.
8. Yeah. I love. Go ahead.
And I was gonna say, like, speaking of like recruiting characters, there was a character, and I haven't even told like my friends this yet because they really like this character. But there's a character, and the option was to like there's different persuades, different strategies, and some of the strategies were really good, but you only have a certain amount of strategy points per like big chapter. And so I had to make the really tough decision of, okay, I'm not gonna recruit that character this time. And I chose to do strategy instead, and it was sad. Small regrets.
And then you watch them die. I gotta say, when you
Mhm.
kill the characters, I wish there was like a little bit more than like a character saying, "Oh, I thought I would get further than this," and then they're dead. It's just like, come on, give me something more than that. Like it plays this sad emotional music, and it shows them laying on the ground, and it's like, I didn't get as far as I wanted to, or something
Yeah.
else stupid like that. I just wish it was a little like better scripted out with like a better script.
Is
I
there
guess
like
for
does it
those
rotate
sections.
lines, or are they just simple lines?
You kill them, and then it's just them talking for like 1 second.
Yeah,
Dying hurts.
Yeah,
Basically.
kind of. Yeah.
that
God.
part's
This hurts
that's kind of
bad.
realistic.
I have a feeling there might be
Ouch.
specific. Ouch, it hurts. I have a feeling there might be like specific dialogue depending on if you have like a certain character involved, because that's a very Fire Emblem thing to do. Is like you'll get special dialogue if like the characters and the story align just right. But yeah, the generic lines, it is very just ow, oh no.
Yeah. I
Kind of a bummer.
one thing that's super impressive, that's way more impressive to me than high resolution frame rates and all that stuff. This is what I care
Here
about.
we go.
The fact that I can recruit 2 different people from 2 different factions, and they're in my group, and then they have unique things to say to each other in the support conversations. They become friends, and they wouldn't have otherwise met if I hadn't recruited both of them. That is more impressive to me, like having dialogue written for these characters that wouldn't normally interact, and they do. So yeah, I love that stuff. That's in like Mass Effect as well. Like after every main mission, they all have something new to say about what just happened. Like that's always way more impressive to me than like caring about the graphical fidelity or the all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, and there's like some characters that I did not expect to have like a full like A support. I was like, okay, they're gonna have like a C or a B. But they're not gonna get like the full like A. And then I was like, oh, like scrolling through, I was like, why are these 2 gonna talk for that long, you know? And then I get the supports, and it's like a really cute conversation. And I was like, this is really nice.
Yeah. I really feel like if someone were to play this game and like mainline the whole thing and not pay attention to the dialogue or do any of the support conversations, they'd be missing out on like the best elements of the game. Like it's
Yeah.
what makes it feel like I always talk about how like in JRPGs or in just any game, you have like this hub area that you're in, and it starts to feel like nostalgic. Like this is my home. These are where all my friends are. And this game does that, and that's largely in part because of the support conversations between all the characters. It actually feels like everyone knows each other and they interact with each other, and I think that's really awesome.
Yeah.
And one final thing about the combat or like the strategy elements. Back when we talked about it previously, I was still fairly early compared to you, so I didn't get much time to play the actual combat and stuff. And I think it's so cool how you can control 4 different people, and then on the big battles you can control direct around 8 people. And I love at the start of the huge battles when you tell 8 different characters what to go do, and then you set out on your journey and you just see everyone scatter in different directions going to do their job. That's like the coolest feeling, because it just feels like, yeah, we're actually going like we're in war right now. But yeah, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel overwhelming. That was one of my big complaints about like Hyrule Warriors. The first one was that I thought the maps were big. I would get overwhelmed with like trying to capture keeps, trying to maintain hold on the keeps. But the way they've been doing like Age of Calamity and now Fire Emblem 3 Hopes, it's like, okay, I can actually rely on my AI to go and do something.
Yeah, for sure. With Age of Calamity, the beast sections aside and the story aside, I thought that was a great step in the right direction for the warrior style game with Zelda. And I honestly hope they do another one that's just more of the good stuff and not throw in the weird stuff like those horrible beast sections where it was like 12 frames per second. Yes, Greg, I care about frames sometimes.
Super clunky. Super clunky.
Wasn't that horrible? Like, what were they thinking?
It was
with
terrible.
I
And I
love
think
Divine
like
It was
Beast.
snore fest.
those are the
what?
Yeah, I thought those were the instances where the Switch, I almost said Wii U for some reason, but the Switch really showed its age, I think.
For sure, with that game specifically, like, and it sucks. Hey, Mary, I was wanting to ask you because I have barely got them if they exist. Is there a perfect dodge in this game? A Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes?
There's a perfect dodge. I don't know if I'm fast enough to or if I can pay attention close enough to see if there is like a
Like a
crit or
Fury
like a
Rush?
stronger hit. Yeah, there's no Fury Rush, but like
I wish there was. That's the
I
one
do get
thing that I
those
wish there
little
was.
I do get those little like pauses where like I get the perfect dodge, but then I'm like,
Okay.
okay, I keep fighting, but I'm like, okay, but I'm not getting a Fury Rush. Am I getting a crit out of this? I haven't quite
Yeah,
been able
because
to pay attention close enough to that.
it's definitely a bit more chaotic with this game. There's like, it seems like there's more little enemies than like in Age of Calamity, where you're fighting a lot of bigger bosses. And
Mhm.
it felt like a traditional action game and not like a Warriors game in Age of Calamity, which I really liked. But there isn't like that dodge and then attack that there is in Age of Calamity
Yeah.
in Three Hopes, and that's kind of unfortunate. But one thing I do love is his ability, and he's the only one that can dash around, like
Mhm.
with his what do you use to dash around? RZ or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of the trigger buttons. Yeah.
Yeah, so I really like that, and I wish like at least one or two other characters had some ability attached to that button, but they don't. So that's unfortunate.
Some of them like some of the mages do, and then Felix does. It's not the same though, but his is dodge related too. But
Oh, that's cool.
he's Blue Lion specific, and you wouldn't know that because
I
you
don't happen.
chose. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the game's really good. I am ready for it to end now. I've spent a lot of time with it, and now I'm probably just going to be mainlining the rest of it because I've done everything I wanted to back in my hub area. Like all my characters are at master class, so like when we're training, we're all maxed out. So it's like not even doing anything.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm already trying to decide my second playthrough which house I'm gonna pick.
You're crazy. As soon as I'm done with this game, I'm getting right back to 13 Sentinels, right, John?
Sure, why not?
I know you liked that game.
Oh yeah, I do. I'm just not
I was
necessarily believing that she'll get back to it.
I will. Like I have 13 Sentinels and Tales of Arise right when I'm done with this.
Mm.
This was not on my list of games to play. I just played the 4-hour demo and then I was like, "Damn it, I want to continue." So I bought it. But yeah, let's get to John and Greg. John, what are you playing lately?
So as I briefly mentioned last week, I'm playing this game Langrisser 1. This was like a Sega Genesis strategy RPG, like Fire Emblem and all that. And I think it came to America as like War Song, and then the series just like didn't come to the West for years. And honestly, I didn't really know much of anything about it except that it existed until I read about it in one of my books, and it made it sound good, so I bought it while it was on sale for Switch, and it's really fun. So like Langrisser, this is a remake of the original, and the original game had like this really sweet 90s anime art style. And in this game you can choose, yeah, like on screen, you can choose between the original art style and a new art style. And I hate the
I
new
love
art
that.
style. It looks like every
Oh,
generic
Take that
anime
back.
of like the past decade. But the 90s style, just like it has so much personality. It looks so good,
Yeah.
and it lets you do the original Sega Genesis music as well, and even like the original Sega Genesis like map layouts with the pixel art. And it doesn't even look that nice, but I just appreciate that it's there, so I use it. So it's like this really nice halfway point between remake and like the actual Sega Genesis game. And
mm,
ironically, the only thing that's like kind of a hitch for me is that ironically I think it's a little too easy. Usually I don't play
mm.
any strategy RPGs because I get annoyed at how hard they can be, and this one's a little too easy.
Wow.
I'm a- I'm about halfway into the game of the first one. It's actually it's the first two games together, so I have the whole second game to play afterwards. But in the first one, I'm about halfway through, and you have your main units, and then you also have basically grunt units that you can buy at the start of each match. And if the grunts die, it's no big deal. So it feels pretty low stakes. And even if you die, you can just try again with like all the stuff you got before you died. So it's really nice. It's like really user friendly. If you stick at it, like this is a game you'll beat eventually because it doesn't have a lot of big barriers. But yeah, so far every fight I just kind of feel like I'm like demolishing the bad guys. Like it'd be nice if I felt like, oh no, this is getting kind of close and then win. But here it's mostly just like Fuck off. I'm killing y'all. Like in the
Nice.
last fight I did, like out of nowhere a bunch of sea monsters appeared, and like I'd never seen sea monsters in a
Yeah.
battle before. Yeah, right? All of a sudden there's like 10 sea monsters and like I demolished them. But but it was cool though that all of a sudden the sea monsters started fighting the guys that I was already fighting, and they like they killed the strongest enemy general, and I lost out on the experience.
Oh.
But
Jeez.
How
but
many
it's really
hours would
fun.
you say that you're in now at the halfway point?
Um, I don't know. I don't feel like I've been playing super long. Like I think this is genuinely like not a huge game by strategy RPG standards. Plus,
Mm,
because it was like a Genesis game, like you're not getting tons of plot between each like battle. Like this isn't like Fire Emblem. This is
right.
very much a Sega Genesis game. It's like, all right, you beat this level. Here's like 15 lines of dialogue. Time for the next level. And like that's the game. And I love it. Like I love everything about this game. I just wish it was like slightly harder. But I'm really
Yeah,
eating that up.
I'm always intrigued to see, how older RPG games or, these types of games compared to like modern games, because that's what's so overwhelming to me is the amount of hours to put into something like this. But I'm always like curious the comparison and like just in my head, I kind of think out like, oh, this is how the games or the games like these have evolved over the years.
Right.
So
Yeah, yeah.
always like that tidbit of information that you share, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. I think at least for another few hours, it's on sale for $20 on the eShop. I guess it's regularly 50.
Nice. It's 10 right now.
See, it's on.
It's $20 right now, and you get two
Uh,
games.
so
Okay.
10
Uh,
each. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
on Steam as well too, 50% off right now, but it's 24.99 for one
If it was
year.
10, I would totally hop on, but 20, just too much.
I understand. Yeah, again, I
Break
knew
the bank.
nothing about this game. It's just that I have this like enormous like I forget, it's like 600-page book about Japanese RPGs, and like I got to the page about Langrisser and I was like, "Oh, this sounds really good." So I bought it cuz it was on sale. So that's
Yeah,
that.
there are a lot of retro JRPGs that I'm gonna get to one day. Like I have like a list that I've written down. But lately I've just been playing all the more modern ones. Actually I did beat 7, of course, recently.
Right, right.
Which I don't remember. I talked about with everyone, right? Or did I just talk
I
about
think
with
so.
Brett? Okay.
Yeah, I
No, I
think
think
I
you
talked about
mentioned it to
last
all of
week.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really
But
hope
yeah,
these pixel remasters get to Switch, cuz then you can play them all on Switch.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Um, are you playing anything else, John?
I finished playing Legend of Mana, and I stick by everything I said last week. Ultra beautiful, terrific music. I don't want to play it. It's not fun.
So you abandoned it? You
So-
did not beat it?
no, I did beat it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't 100% it, but like I reached a point where I was like, all right, I'm good. I went to the final place, and that was that. Like, I will probably never touch it again as long as I live. But it is a really beautiful game. I'll give it that. So
Nice.
I had planned to now finally move on to Judgment, which is, the Yakuza spin-off
Yeah.
games, but Langrisser was like my big wild card. Like all of a sudden I'm just busy playing like these redos of ancient video games. So maybe after Langrisser 1 I'll finally do Judgment.
It's always kind of funny whenever you don't plan on playing something and then you end up giving it like 15 minutes of your time and then it's like, oh crap, I'm gonna play this whole game.
Totally.
That's it's exactly what happened to me with Breath of the Wild earlier this year. I just planned on starting it and just playing like a little bit of it, and then I ended up playing through the entire game.
Yup.
Now, Greg, I heard you weren't playing all that much this week, but is there anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, no, I had my some family visiting, so it was kind of a different week. But um, I will just say, of course, my favorite game, Apex Legends. I actually grew tired of it, this past couple of weeks, and haven't been playing all that much. But there's a new map rotation, and I like that it's changed because I did not like the other map. But I don't know, it's like amazing that you can build up this muscle memory and not play something and then jump back in and give yourself a little break. I'm sure you guys feel that same way about JRPGs or an action game or going into
Smash.
roguelikes and
That's me and
you
Smash.
yeah, you don't touch it for a while and then you get back in. But I was wondering, is it still there? Can I still? And I feel I'm looking at it again with a set of fresh eyes. A lot of the weapons, every season what they do, or different times during the season, they'll they have these crafting stations. So certain weapons will only spawn on the ground as loot, or they'll come in a care package, or you have to craft it yourself out of the crafting locations. And so they rotate a lot of weapons in and out of there. And people always have opinions on buffs or power of certain weaponry, and I don't know, it just feels a little bit fresh again to go back into it and pick up some of your favorite items and not have to worry about crafting them, or your idiot teammates that are just running into fights and getting killed. But I feel more comfortable than ever, sniping. And I'm glad to have ever even picked up Apex Legends, because it has absolutely made me a better sniper in games. And even to the point that I think it was last month, I jumped back into Warzone a little bit, and I was like, I could not wait to get my hands on a sniper rifle, and what a difference. So, but I know a lot of people are playing Overwatch 2,
Oh
but
yeah, the
I didn't
beta.
get to jump into it. Yeah, I missed it, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, I was surprised
Yeah.
to find out that they're shutting down the first game. It's just all morphing into Overwatch 2.
Yeah, which
I
is
still,
is weird, like,
yeah,
because
it
you could
is
never
weird.
really
Like,
go back and enjoy the first one for what it was.
that's one thing that sucks about a lot of these like multiplayer games. This is common, but like even like MMOs or these like service games, like Anthem. Like, what if Anthem was a big hit, but then like 15, 20 years later, the game's gonna disappear. They're gonna have to shut down the server sooner or later. So like anyone who had memories with Anthem, they'd never be able to go back and like play it. That's kind of sad, because if I want to play Ocarina of Time, I can go play it. Like, that's a game I loved as a kid, but there's a lot of kids right now who are playing games that they love that they're not going to be able to play in 15, 20 years.
Do you think Fortnite will have the lasting power to go that long?
I think Fortnite will, but
Yeah.
not many others.
I feel like they're running out of IPs to introduce to it. Like, I mean, once you have Marvel, DC,
Yeah.
didn't they do something Stranger Things? I thought
Yeah,
at
I
one
think
point.
they've done like
Probably.
everything.
I mean,
Yeah.
But it's like, what's really left?
I mean, they could still introduce like new gameplay mechanics with like new seasons that like coincide with a thing
Or
like
take 'em
Marvel,
away?
but just like a different thing that's Marvel, like an actual gameplay mechanic that's Marvel related. I don't know.
Maybe they'll finally get Nintendo on board. They'll get Samus.
That'd be cool. That was like
Aw.
that rumor back whenever
Yeah.
Kratos and Master Chief came.
Well, wasn't it like part of in like the paperwork with that huge court case thing that like there actually was like a pitch made?
I
Yeah,
think
it
so.
was
That
in a
sounds
slide
familiar.
deck.
Huh.
Yeah, it was in a
Yeah.
slide deck. I don't think it was ever anything that like they actually like had Nintendo on board with. I think it was like a
Yeah.
hypothetical wish list sort of deal.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they were like showing like what the character would look like. Basically just concept art for like,
Yeah.
here's our idea. What do you think? And then Nintendo probably was like, no thanks.
Drop
Not
dead.
yet.
Oh man,
Yeah.
if they had a Samus and a Zero Suit Samus, I feel like that would sell gangbusters.
Oh man. Even like Dark Samus too, like
Yeah,
just get
hell
all
yeah.
of them.
Some variety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nintendo would rather die than allow any of that though.
Yeah.
The whole
Yeah.
company
See
would
you
just
in
like
court.
the entire
Nintendo-
company will just descend into a hole in the earth, into the underworld.
Nintendo is still having 4-hour-long meetings debating whether or not they can afford to make Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze less than $60.
Oh man.
Yep. Can't be done.
But yeah, you talked about Smash earlier. Or at least I did, because you talked about Apex. and I gotta say, I still play Smash every week. But shout out to the people who play Smash online, 1v1, no items, the only way to play Smash. And they'll beat the living shit out of me. I will barely touch them.
Which isn't hard.
But no. But then they'll keep letting me fight them over and over and over until I finally understand their fighting style, and then I can actually end up beating them. And the second I beat them, I dip out because I beat you and I'm done. I'm not gonna keep fighting you.
What a dirtbag.
No, no, I feel like what?
Have a new
Eric?
Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is 42 bucks. It's in sale.
Oh. Okay.
I
Bad
didn't
timing.
hear
Eric,
super
Donkey
Eric-
Kong
Eric-
Country Tropical Freezes on sale.
Yeah.
I was just
'cause
kidding about
there's-
that. I just beat that
yeah.
earlier this year.
that
sorry
huge
for
sale
reading
going
the
on.
joke.
What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Smash.
Smash, yes.
Shout out to the people who will just let you keep fighting them over and over, because I feel like I do a lot of 1v1 fights, and not to toot my own horn or anything, but I win a lot of the time. So when someone comes along and just destroys me, I like getting the opportunity to just keep fighting them over and over to like really test my skills. And I still wish I knew like an actual professional Smash fighter that I could just fight against. Like I want to fight a professional Smash player, and until I beat him at least once. Like that's my ultimate goal, or her. All right. Now
Send a
let's
tweet
talk
out.
about.
Yeah.
I've done that before, actually. I was like, if anyone knows like a professional, like I truly want to know, where is my skill level at? Like how bad am I? How good am I? You know?
You'll have to enter that Panda Global official Smash competition and find out that way.
Yeah.
I should boot it up and re-challenge you. Get some training in.
Yeah. I think you beat
I'd
me
be down.
once.
Get
I
the
think I
hell
like
out of
you
here. It was
I like you.
twice.
No,
Yeah,
like
you probably
You
did.
were
I will
sick with
lose.
COVID and half dead.
Yeah, my
I will
fever was
lose if I'm not-
115.
if I'm not using a main, I will lose against like a very average player like Greg. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
Got him.
Got him good.
Hey, did you see
Wait.
that note that Eric put in the chat
No.
about the OLED?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I never trust anything about new Nintendo hardware anymore.
Oh, that's weird. They
Yeah.
made it private? That's really weird.
Yeah.
Apparently, they made
Yeah.
the Switch OLED trailer private on their YouTube channel. Maybe they're
Hmm.
discontinuing it that quick because they got a new one in the pipeline.
Perhaps.
OLED 2.0.
Maybe stock's low.
What if they did like Switch OLED Mini and everyone thought it was going to be a Pro? Like it was just the same hardware, like just the same
Switch
power.
OLED Mini that could dock. I'd be upset. Big upset.
What if it's basically it's like the Game Boy Micro all over again, except like a tiny Switch screen?
Oh my god.
I was gonna say
That'd be
OLED
amazing.
3D, but
Man,
Oh boy.
720 would look crisp with a 4-inch screen.
There you go, man. Even
Oh wait, like
440,
a 3-inch,
even
2-inch screen.
540p, it'll be like, oh baby, like.
Yeah. I gotta say, the games do look great on the micro. Like every now and then I pop in Mario Brothers 3 and I'm like, man, this looks crisp on this tiny ass screen.
I have one of them just because like I think a friend of the family found it like on maybe like a plane or something. Like somebody left it behind and like, oh, they know that boy John plays video games, so they just gave it to me. So I have it
Yeah.
kicking
Where
around.
might-
because I bought this little thing. I was one of the only people
Oh,
excited
nice.
for it.
Mm.
I could have got the
Cool.
review copy of that, but I said no. I didn't want to write about it because I knew I wasn't gonna care about it after like 5
Oh
seconds.
my gosh.
Yeah, I think we had
But,
But
John
just
do
hook the
that.
brother up.
Speaking of finding things, John, you just reminded me. There was this one time. Do you remember the fad? The
These
fad
smooth
of.
segues tonight.
Do you remember the fad about GameStop throwing away all of its retro games and putting them in like dumpsters behind the stores and stuff? And then everyone was like dumpster diving. Well, one time
I do not.
you guys don't remember that?
You're making this up.
Anyway.
Like
This ain't
GameStop
real.
used to be known for throwing away all of its games that didn't sell. So around that time, everyone was dumpster diving around GameStop. So I kid you not, the very first time, me and my friend were like, "Hey, let's just go check that dumpster." This was like 2014, 2015. We go check the dumpster behind the GameStop right down the street, and lo and behold, a not brand new, it's pretty old by that time, but like a perfect condition Xbox 360 Elite with a 250 gigabyte hard drive
What?
and a bunch of games. A bunch of physical cases all thrown in the dumpster. We grab them, we take it back. I'm like, hell yeah, this is freaking awesome. And then we're like, dude, we're just going to keep going back all the time. And then we went back to that GameStop and like 5 other ones. I kid you not, probably like 11 times. We never found anything else ever again. But the very first time we found that, so we got our hopes up so high.
That's
and then we were
amazing.
screwed every single time after that. So yeah, I just thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Now,
Speaking of finding
now-
things.
what'd you find?
No, I really did. So my parents came to visit, and
And you found them.
I found them. I did, luckily, because
Never
at their
saw 'em.
age, no, I'm just kidding. No, but they brought a bunch of my retro stuff. And another one of my GameCubes that was missing with Mario Party 7, and like a couple other games. And it was one of the models that has progressive scan. But my favorite thing that they brought, 2 sets of Donkey Konga bongos. I'm so happy.
Nice.
That game
Oh
is
my
forever my
gosh.
favorite.
That game's
That's
pretty
awesome.
legit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude,
I don't know
I
why.
still have-
It's just dumb fun.
Totally.
that just reminded me. I still have the DDR Mario Mix pads for GameCube that you would like
Nice.
dance on.
Oh
Um,
My
And
brother
I remember
has
back
that.
in the day, I got them because I was like, I love DDRs. This is gonna be great, and I didn't know that the Mario Mix was literally only Mario songs. I thought they included like other like licensed songs as well, but no, it's literally all Mario. So I was kind of disappointed in that. But yeah, that's just another random story. I'm just all about random stories tonight. Now, speaking of things that's actually recent, I played the Live Alive demo. John, did you ever get around to playing it?
I did not.
Okay. Well, hopping back on the JRPG train, the demo is actually pretty good. There's 3 different stories. It's just the beginnings of each story, like John was frustrated with last week. But I do think it was probably a good idea to have the demo like this because you get a taste of everything. If it was just one of them, I probably wouldn't be as interested. But the fact that I got to do 3 little mini intros was actually made it a bit more interesting. So my thoughts in general, I did what is it like the China one? You play as like an old man who knows he's gonna die soon, and he wants to find like 3 people to train, like Karate Kid, basically. So that was probably my favorite of the bunch because the story was the most interesting to me. The other one, there's one in space that I didn't really find that interesting. You're playing as a robot, and there's no combat in this intro. It's all story stuff, and I didn't really find any of it that intriguing, except one element about transporting a certain item back to Earth, I believe. That was probably the most interesting part. And then the one that's I've seen the most in the trailers, which is one where you're playing as like not like a ninja. Is it a ninja, John?
Ninja.
Or
Yeah, he's a ninja.
Shinobi.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know
Well,
if that's the same
a ninja.
thing, but they call him,
Yeah.
he's a shinobi. So
Yeah.
that one was probably like the biggest of all the demos, and it was super pretty. There are some elements about it that don't look pretty. It's kind of like grainy in some spots. I don't know. At first glance, it looks fine, but then when you're really looking at it, it just sort of looks all like a huge like amalgamation of colors and like ugliness. But it's usually really pretty.
On the
But
box,
this one,
a huge amalgamation of colors and ugliness.
Ugliness.
but the problem
like
with this
my,
one was that
Teen years.
it took me so long to figure out where the hell to go. Like I did not know where to go, and then I find out that you can
Well,
out of nowhere, there's like some trees that you can walk up to and press A, and then you can climb up on top of it. I'm like, what the heck? This was not explained at all.
well, that
and then
whole
there's
section
also-
of the game, I think, is supposed to be kind of like a weird maze.
Yeah, that's how it felt. I ended up using a video guide of the old game, which, my God, this is a facelift. This game looks significantly better than the original. And even like the layout's not even really the same in a lot of areas. Like it's the same, but they use a 3D element in these HD 2D games, so you're like moving more like 3D like going upstairs and whatnot. Then it looks a lot different. But yeah, I was lost on where to go. The combat's like grid based. It doesn't seem like it's that important in the game, to be honest. Like it's fairly easy, at least from what I played of these 3 intros. And I feel like the main focus of this game is the different stories and the different environments and all that stuff, which is honestly all I want out of it. Brett does not want to go halvesies with me on it, so I might not get it at launch. I was thinking about it, but I don't know if I want to spend $50 on it. When it's on
the deal
sale,
breaker.
I'll continue. Yeah.
I
Well, dude,
asked for. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say
ahead.
the main reason why I was debating it was because Xenoblade's so close to it, and I don't need to drop $50 and $60 on 2 games that are massive right next to each other.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't think Life Alive is necessarily a huge game, but it's certainly
Oh,
very
yeah.
large in scope. In scope, it's definitely very large. You're getting 8
Yeah.
different stories. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so the in the far future story, if memory serves, there is no fights in that chapter at all, except
Oh.
for like the end fight. Like I think there's an end fight, and there's like an optional arcade game on the ship, and you can do a whole bunch of like scripted battles like inside this arcade game. It's like this escalating challenge of can you beat the whole thing. And that's pretty
Hmm.
fun from what I remember. But otherwise, yeah, that's like the most story-centric chapter, and it basically becomes the movie Alien.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like I just love how much imagination is in this game that like there's like 6 other chapters. It's like you're fighting things, you're doing these adventures, then all of a sudden it's like we're just doing Alien, no fights, it's just Alien. You're gonna like that's the chapter. So I'm all about that. Um, actually, like I generally remember the different chapters in that game, but it's funny that you said you really liked how the China chapter was set up. That's the one I remember the least. Like I remember that it
Really?
exists, and I don't really
Hmm.
remember anything beyond that. Yeah. Like I know
Yeah, it's
vaguely how
basically
it ends, and that's about it.
this old guy who's like super good at fighting. He knows
Yeah.
that he's gonna die soon, so he's like, I need to go find some people
Like
to
a
train.
successor.
Yeah, and then he ends up finding 3 people who are not like they're stealing, and then they're getting in fights, and it's just like, okay, he finds 3 bad people, and he's gonna shape them up in and outside of the battlefield or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't want to add too much because then I might like accidentally spoil something that like might not supposed to be common knowledge, etc. So
yeah,
I'm just saying yes.
yeah, sweet.
I'll say I know nothing about this game, but I'm excited to play it.
Are you
Awesome.
buying it at launch?
Yeah, I've had
Uh,
it pre-ordered for a bit.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Okay.
haven't pre-ordered yet, but I do intend to buy it because I just really want to own it physically. I also asked Nintendo for a review code, but like they usually don't give it to me till like launch day anyway. So I figure if I get a review code, I'll like gift it to my brother or something.
Yeah,
I
because
just want to
since you're
share
buying
the
it,
love
yeah.
of this game.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I do want to play it sooner or later. I just don't know if I'm gonna get to it right at launch. Like I want to, but this could go into another topic. Like this year is stacked with JRPGs. It is like out of this world. There are
Square's
so
making
many
like
JRPGs.
3/4 of them.
Yeah.
Square is literally they're making so many of them. I
It's
need to
crazy.
find what I sent earlier. There's
Oh
like a
yeah,
list.
yeah. I saw
And the
that too,
next,
and it wasn't even a complete list.
yeah, it's missing some stuff, but
Yeah.
2022 JRPGs from Square: Live Alive, the Dio Field Chronicle, Valkyrie Elysium, Forspoken, Star Ocean: The Divine Force, Harvestella, Dragon Quest Treasures, and Crisis 4 Reunion, which might be early next year, but still, it's like soon. And that's just Square, and that's not even all of them. Like there's still
Yes.
the leaked Tactics game that's
Right?
coming out
It's
sometime
Tactics
soon.
Ogre. There's eventually there's going to be the remake of Dragon Quest 3 in HD
Oh
2D.
yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then
And then there's other
obviously,
games like
yeah.
Soul Hackers 2 and
Right. Yeah,
um,
Atlas Soul Hackers too.
Mhm.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
And
There's more JRPGs I'm
there's the
forgetting.
remake of Front Mission, another strategy RPG from Square Enix.
There's that My Fairy and Me game. I think it's like a China only game or Japanese only game, but this is like the first one in the West. It's something like that, and it like visually looks super impressive, but no one's really talking about it. That's coming to
Familiar.
PS4 and PS5. I can't remember what it was the exact name, but I think it's My Fairy, something like that.
I typed that in and it's giving me a young girls book series, Fairy Mom and Me.
That's it.
Sword and Fairy.
Gotta play it.
Sword and Fairy. That's what it's called.
Sword
But
and
yeah,
Fairy.
it came to PC 7 months ago, and
Oh.
Digital Foundry did a breakdown about
Oh,
the
yeah.
visuals because they looked so like good for like an like sort of an unknown game. So I'm very
Budget
curious
thing.
about this one.
Oh, yeah,
It's
wow.
technically it's technically the 7th game in the series, but
Yeah, I see that.
they're not having the 7 in the US release. They cut that from the title.
Oh yeah, it looks
Okay.
cool. Hey, wasn't there like a hyper realistic game like this that was coming out? It was like a kung fu game.
Oh yeah,
kept-
by that
we kept
Chinese
seeing-
developer.
Yeah, we kept seeing gameplay, or at
What is
least
it
an
called?
engine.
I know what you're talking about. I forget
play
what
as,
it's
like,
I remember I
called
was
almost
too.
thinking
guy.
about that. Yeah.
It's not
I can't think of the
Wolong.
name
That's
of it.
the other one.
Yeah.
Right.
It's something like that though. It's something like
Oh.
Wolong.
I'm looking
like
at
a
pictures
short
of
word.
it right now, but there's no name to go with it.
I'm gonna
Jerks.
type in Chinese Souls game.
I typed in Chinese action game, and like I see a picture of one of them, but it doesn't
Oh,
say the
there it is.
name.
Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah, Black Myth.
Oh
Wukong.
yeah.
And then there's another one called Wu Chang Fallen Feathers that also looks pretty dang good.
Okay.
Which I think might be a Chinese game as well.
Mm,
Didn't they like
probably.
finally ban gaming in China or something, and that's why there's like more developers coming out of the woodworks?
I mean, not. No, like they're
I
always
mean
introducing.
unbanned gaming.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I forget. Like the problem is like when we get the news of what's going on in China, we get like a processed version that may or may not be accurate and may or may not have come from legitimate sources. So like even when we like hear well-meaning news, it might not be actually accurate to what's going on over there.
Yeah.
So my official answer is I don't know and I shouldn't have tried responding.
I do remember something
you're-
vaguely
you're-
about like limiting gameplay time for
Yeah,
18
like
and
an
under.
hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see a
That's
lot of
crazy.
censorship, like
Sucks for
censorship
them.
stuff, but I think I see mainly like anime censorship related.
That's funny.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
you can't have blood, so they change the color of it and it's white, and I'll just let that visual sit in your head.
This is just done pink. This did pink like Danganronpa. That worked out.
Splooge everywhere.
It's
Basically.
Oh.
interesting.
Oh,
And
they,
we're demonetized.
they
My
go
bad.
You're welcome.
They go the Mortal Kombat Super Nintendo route where they just call everything sweat.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
It's all just
So
So
much
much
sweat.
sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much sweat.
Speaking of
But-
sweat. No.
What?
I was
I thought you
waiting for you to
had
come up with something.
I was watching this great video on late night Cinemax, and there was so much sweat.
There
So
we
much.
go. It was very soft core. Let's
Softcore
talk
sweat.
about. Okay, so we talked a little bit about all the JRPGs coming out, but I'm curious about what you guys think. So Nintendo was supposed to have a direct. Oh, well, not supposed to, but the big rumor was that they were having a full real direct first party on the 29th of last month. And did that third party one end up happening on the 29th? I can't remember.
28th, I think.
I think,
28th.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was off a little bit with the timing and whatnot, and the content. But do you guys think that we're finally gonna get like a full direct in the next like few weeks? Like, do you think it's gonna happen? John, you first.
Wait, I'm sorry. Repeat that quick.
Do you think we're getting like a full blown first party direct in the next few weeks?
Absolutely not. No way. 100% no. I like. I think they're gonna just kind of keep drip feeding things because they can. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's genuinely like because they
Yeah.
can.
This is
I-
Nintendo. They just sit on completed games like it's no
Right?
big deal.
And
Every
Metroid Prime
publisher's dream.
trilogy.
Yes. Allegedly, the Metroid Prime remaster has been done for a while. So
Xenoblade
allegedly-
was so done they could push it forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
allegedly a brand new Fire Emblem's been finished a while. So like Nintendo's
And,
just sitting on games.
There's also I heard that the Fire Emblem Fates or something. I heard that was also done. Like a remaster of the 3DS game.
I didn't hear anything about that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
I don't
it's
know.
possible. It's just, some people are more reputable than others. But
Yeah. I
But
can
no,
imagine they
I-
don't want to have too many JRPGs in the pipeline, so that they probably want to get out Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and then maybe like a month later, then they announce the next Fire Emblem game.
see, that's why I think it's so much of a dick move to release Xenoblade when they are though, because Live Alive had that set July release date
Yeah.
for like quite a long time. Then all of a sudden
Mhm.
Nintendo's like Xenoblade the week after. It's like
Yeah.
Are
like,
they
no ma-
publishing Live Alive or is Square?
they are in the US, yeah.
That
they
is
are.
weird. So yeah, they're
Yeah.
hurting themselves.
Well, like I can't imagine a scenario where this happened and Square Enix wasn't like, what are you doing, guys? Maybe we should have
Yeah.
a meeting about this. Like,
They're probably pissed when they saw that.
they had to be furious. Like, I can't imagine a scenario where they wouldn't have been really upset about this. I'm I'm still just confused that it's happening. Like,
It's definitely eating into the same audience, like without a doubt.
Mhm.
definitely, yeah. But see, I'm legit. So for me, it's eating into Xenoblade. Xenoblade's not getting
Oh,
my time. That can
all
wait.
right, dude. Xenoblade 3 looks really cool. I think you're still gonna
Yeah.
try it though, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna play it. Like like already, like as I've said, like I think just based off the trailers, it looks better than two. Like I two's a game that I played the whole way through for like, I don't know, 80, 90 hours, and I was bored the whole time, but I played it. So I'm I'm hoping I'll like this more like I liked the original one. Cause you're right, like it looks really good, and I think it's cool that you can have like 6, 7 party members at a time doing stuff. I think that could introduce some cool strategy. And the visuals
Yeah.
just look nice. Like on
Mhm.
paper, everything about this game looks fun.
Yeah, the
But I'm
combat's
playing Live Alive first though.
like I've said plenty of times in the past. The combat of the series is not why I play it. Like I really am not that big
No.
a fan of it. It's just everything
Yeah.
else that I like.
It's
But
an
I'm
offline
hoping that
MMO.
yeah, basically, I'm hoping that this one just does something a little different that makes it feel a little more, I don't know, intuitive, like a little more engaging than the other ones.
Yeah,
And less confusing. Like the second game was honestly confusing the entire time. Like I was like
like
legitimately confused about how to do the combat.
yeah, dude, yeah, I beat Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I realized
Never
like
fully understood it.
there were entire game mechanics I just didn't use because I never had a reason to learn them.
Yep,
Like
same.
that's not usually an example of like outstanding game design if you don't have to use the mechanics. Like
Yeah,
I don't know. There are exceptions. In Breath of the Wild, you could go the whole game without learning about shield surfing if you wanted. It was just there for people to discover.
I
That was
still don't know how to
awesome.
shield surf. I never shield
Like,
surfed my entire playthrough recently. I could have looked it up and see how to do it, but I just
Isn't
never
it like
did.
a couple buttons, like you got to run and then tap Y and then X or something like that?
uh,
You don't
I,
remember?
I don't remember.
it's like jump and guard or guard and jump,
Yeah,
something
something
like that.
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. While you're
Uh,
running, and
well,
I
yeah,
know
press
in
X and then A.
speedruns,
Yeah.
it's a strategy where you activate that and then immediately cancel it, and it gives you extra jump height, and you can get to places you're not supposed to like complete shrines faster and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that was actually intended, but that's become like its primary use. but but that's an example of like extra mechanics being there like just to delight. Like that's really cool. If there's mechanics that
Yeah.
exist strictly for the surprise of discovering them, like that's really cool. If there's a mechanic that you
Yeah.
put in the main game and you explain it badly and you never use it, that's not a good example.
Did
I,
everybody here played Shredder's Revenge, right?
Mm-mm.
I played the first
Yeah.
30 minutes.
I played it all.
Okay, well at least John. So did you use the
What about Mary?
the
She
roll?
said yeah.
Oh, I said no.
Oh, I
I
thought
haven't
you said
played
no.
Oh,
it.
she said no.
Yeah, I
I
said
thought,
no.
I thought
Brett's
you
not
said
paying
yeah,
attention
and then
to
you're like,
me.
well, at least John.
So
Like,
At
so
least the
did
man
you-
here has talked about it. All right.
Whoa. No, the roll mechanic. Did you find
Uh,
yourself using that often?
um, is is that different from the basic dodge, or is that the
No,
dodge
no, it's the
mechanic?
dodge because yeah, most of the time
Okay.
you roll backwards, forward.
No, I want to say actually I use the dodge fairly often.
Yeah, I think that was like one mechanic that was very, it was like here it is and like use it as you will, but there was never like a tutorial like how to like you know sometimes on these types of games like you just want to get in and play.
Sure.
And like, that's what I did and really just I was like, okay, I'm figuring these movements out and starting to use the mechanic more. But I did play a little bit over the weekend and there was one I think it was the Bebop fight and I saved the video from it, but I found myself getting in this like groove where I went untouched, like legitimate combos, not like farming combos. I think it was like 98 hits, but I like dodged everything and it was all rolling and all attacks. And like, I think that's like one of the more modern games that has like a specific mechanic like that, that is valuable in the way the game's designed, that is valuable against every enemy. And like, it can be utilized in so many different ways, whether that's, evading or just backing up so you have enough room to run and do a charge attack, or especially in situations where you are playing with 4 or 5 other people, and you absolutely have to get away from the action to kind of see where your character's at. But I thought it was executed very well. All the things that I did say about inconsistencies in some of the fights in Shredder's Revenge, but I found it a very useful tool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I thought it was kind of a surprising decision that for people who haven't played it yet, in Shredder's Revenge, every time you actually like start up if you're gonna start up a new game or whatever, like it actually just puts you on a screen where it cycles through like literally like every gameplay action you can do. It goes like
Yeah,
screen by screen telling you every action you can do. And it's like you can't say they didn't tell you what to do. It's just kind of like surprising to me that there's like specifically, all right, page 1 of 26. Here's how you slash. Here's how you jump slash. Here's how
mm,
you roll, you know? So it's like I don't know, like I don't know if there would have been a better way to implement that. Like again, that's literally the most straightforward solution. It's just like it's also kind of a lot to put on a person all at once, like every single action in
yeah,
the game. Like, I don't know if there's really a perfect solution to that. Because if you're going to start a fighting game, yeah, you would want to know all the actions up front. But also having like 26, that's an arbitrary number I'm using, like different actions page by page. Like, I don't know, it's kind of inelegant.
yeah. That would have been a cool feature, I think, to have, like if they did a paper manual, to
Yeah.
see that, artist design, and especially
y-
illustrations that are callbacks to the original cartoon or anything like that.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Limited Run will do something like that with their release to go with your Pizza
Yeah.
Hut coupons. I, I love that. Like,
Yeah.
that's such a great gimmick, Pizza Hut coupon to
Yeah.
go with your Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, and I keep forgetting about the other combo pack that's releasing later this year. That's later this year, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
I'd half forgotten about it as well. That sounds amazing from Digital Eclipse.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's funny that like two different publishers were working on these at the same time. I bet the person the so wait, I'm sorry. Who's the publisher of this new one? I mean, of the old ones. Is it Konami
Konami?
or
The
was
old
that the?
the uh yeah, Konami was like the original arcade game
So who's
and like
publishing this new collection that's coming out?
uh that's a
Ooh,
good
I'm gonna look it
question.
up.
Like yeah, I'm not completely sure. I know the
Well,
ones
either
that are
way,
developing
my,
it is Digital Eclipse.
my main point was basically that like once they saw that like Shredder's Revenge was coming out, they're like, damn it, we've been working on this collection, and now they have a brand new game coming out. Like everyone's gonna be Ninja Turtled out by the time our collection is here.
Nah, I don't think
I
so.
doubt
Ninja
it.
Turtles are
Yeah.
timeless. I
Yeah, I
mean,
was
Yeah.
they're
about to
still making
say.
movies.
They've been in time. They're turtles in time.
What movies?
Yeah. The
When
recent
was the
Ninja
last time
Turtle
they made a
And
movies.
movie, Greg?
and yeah,
Out
Konami
of the
actually is
was
the
it Out of the
publisher here.
Shadows?
Okay, and they didn't just publish the new one, right? That was someone else.
Yeah, that was Totemu and I don't know how you pronounce their name and Tribute Games.
Okay, so I'm wondering
Yeah.
if
20,
Konami just technically
2016.
still has the rights to the older games, so they're allowed to like remaster them, and as long as they're the same core games, but they can't make new games. I don't know.
I mean, well, yeah, I guess. Well, I mean, licensing's weird. Yeah, like I guess they had to go back to like who owns I think it's like Viacom like owns the Ninja Turtles now. They probably had to talk to Viacom to be like, "Hey, let's bring these
Oh,
games back." And then they were like, "Okay." And so, yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I would imagine
is
trying to
is Nick
make anything new would be like a lot of licensing hurdles to cover.
is
Yeah.
Nickelodeon under the Viacom
I
umbrella?
think
I think
so.
so, yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
always find
Yeah.
that so weird. Like, like certain, like Marvel and Sony, even like, you get, Marvel will own the rights to the character, but Sony will have the rights to their powers. And it's like, this is so
Yeah.
stupid. Like, you're just destroying the fan base with these.
I found out recently that the whole reason in the Ninja Turtles movies in the second one, Secret of the Ooze, they didn't use Bebop and Rocksteady because I guess like those are like creations of like the cartoon, and they didn't want to pay
Mm.
the cartoon people any extra money, so they created the replacement characters Toka and
Razor.
Razor. Yeah. So they
That's
created
funny.
that just to save a few bucks.
But then they were still in like Turtles in Time and stuff.
Yeah. Oh.
It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
weird.
Well, I guess Konami was willing to play ball more than the multi-million-dollar movie people.
I really like. I've been picturing this Ninja Turtles game in my mind for like a decade now. That's like gritty looking, like a Batman Arkham game. That's like 4-player co-op where you can like jump from building to building and like just go all out with like some crazy Ninja Turtle moves. And I want that game, but it's never gonna be a game. Like I don't know if you guys remember. Do you remember the rumors that Rocksteady was making a Ninja Turtles game before Suicide
Mm-mm.
Squad came into the picture? That was one of
Never
the
heard that
rumors, and I
one.
was like, "Oh my god, that would be absolutely amazing!" Like a dark and gritty Ninja Turtles, because the, the origins of these characters isn't all like happy-go-lucky. Like there are some darker
Yeah.
stories, like especially like in the comics, like where there's blood and all that kind of stuff. So I would really love to see that in a game. And there's apparently a comic run called The Last Ronin that all of the turtles
Raphael.
get killed except one. And he goes on this like revenge spree.
I think it's
Basically,
everybody but
dark and
Raphael.
yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
So,
But
Says
I like
Mike
that though. They,
says Michelangelo on a wiki.
oh, okay.
oh,
Wikis can't
But
be wrong.
yeah, I'd love to get something that's like totally different for turtles. That's like more serious and still looked like how they do, but just a little more serious. You know.
yeah, we had
Yeah,
a
was there
question in the
anything?
chat.
Oh, what they say?
Yeah. There's a very philosophical question that's been sitting there in the chat.
What's it say?
How can you get the most out of your Nintendo Switch?
Oh, that is philosophical.
Right? Yeah. Take that in a lot
Well,
of directions.
me honestly, I bought that HD upreser that like straightens out some of the jagged edges, and I feel like that's a good way to get something out of your Switch. Like when I go from Fire Emblem Three Hopes on my other TV that doesn't have it to the one that's on my other TV that actually does have it, I can see like a not like a super big difference, but just the character models look a little more crisp. So I think that's one way to get a lot out of your Switch. What do you guys think?
I'm still waiting for them to release a dock that has proper cooling or just something because like something to help because back to Fire Emblem. I don't know how your Switch sounds, Brett, but mine sounds like it's a small airplane and it's slowly dying
God.
trying to play
Wow.
Three Hopes. Like I can hear the little fans and I'm like my Switch is
I've
gonna
never heard
explode.
my Switch.
I'll record it and I'll send it to y'all, but I'm just like, oh my gosh, this poor thing. And like, I just want the dock to have like better air circulation because right now it's just a piece of
Yeah.
plastic that you stick it in and it doesn't do anything for it.
You can hear it
So-
from
honestly-
the dock.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Kind of wild.
Yeah.
There's
but yeah,
been
the-
some times in the past where I've been able to hear the fan like while I'm actually holding it handheld,
Mm-mm.
but
Yeah.
it hasn't been much of an issue lately.
Trying to remember what I was
Also,
playing.
I'm
that
like
did that.
I'm also become a violent lunatic when I play games. Not violent with people, just with inanimate objects. So like my Switch is a trooper. It's really a miracle that it's still alive.
Yeah.
yeah, my
same.
launch
I'm
Switch does not. It's not alive anymore. It's why I got an OLED.
Yeah, I'm as clumsy as they come, so I just leave mine in the dock because I know for sure I would have dropped it, stepped on it, spilled some water on it, and I very rarely I'll take it with me when I travel.
Mm. Yeah.
I've
mine
been
goes
using the
everywhere.
OLED since it came out, and I like the OLED a lot, especially with the Daemon X Machina grips. They
Mm.
came out whenever that game came out, like the chunky ones. With the screen that actually finally goes to the edges of the Switch, it looks like actually really cool to have those. So yeah, I like the OLED. I forgot my other Switch does still work. It just doesn't read any SD cards, so it's like I have 25 gigs of space, so it's like
bad.
useless.
Good Lord.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Does
so mad when that happened.
everybody here? Oh, sorry.
What? Go
bad.
ahead.
Oh, good.
No, I was gonna say, does everybody here use like something other than the Joy-Cons, like the Satisfy Pro or the Hori Switch Pad?
I use the well, I have a Pro controller, and then I use the Satisfy grip to like if I'm playing handheld mode. So,
Interesting.
because I do take
Yeah,
mine
I-
whenever like I travel. For a while before pandemic, I was traveling like a lot, and that was like a savior for like being on airplanes and
Oh yeah.
so
Yeah, I used to bring the Switch Fix with me on the airplanes. It's the one that connects to the Pro controller, and it looks like ET with your Switch connected to it.
Oh yeah,
So you can use the Pro
gave me one
controller
of
like
those.
on the go. Yeah, I gave you like the prototype model that they sent me.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not much else going on, guys. It's a pretty weird episode. We could close it out now, or we could talk about some other games. What are you thinking, John?
Well, I was trying to think of how I would answer Donnie's question here because I I don't really think there's any like extra hardware that I actually use on a regular basis for Switch. Like I've used some for like experimentation and reviews and stuff. Like that time I video reviewed in one take that LED Switch controller.
Oh yeah,
But I don't on the hardware end, I don't really do anything special. So like when I think of this question of like how do you get the most out of your Nintendo Switch, I think more along the lines of like how do you get
Gabagool.
like a grandiose and fulfilling library of games, you know? And
yeah,
to that I would basically say like just keep checking out like the deals page that Nintendo maintains for all its different games. And as I've said like 3 times already tonight, Nintendo's had like a huge sale going for like the past several weeks and I think it ends today. So I would at least recommend like checking out Nintendo's official deals page and just seeing the huge list of games they have right there. The list extends even beyond that, but if you just want like a point of reference, I'd say like just look through all the deals and like see if anything catches your eye and just give it a click if it's cheap. Again, Langrisser, $20. It's fun.
yeah. I would
But
definitely like the Switch is full of some hidden gems as well. So I think the
for
best way to
sure.
get the most out of your Switch is to try new experiences that aren't necessarily your typical cup of tea. Just like try some new things out. And John, right now the Valkyrie Elysium reveal is happening on the Square Enix YouTube channel. Just so you know,
You know,
because I'm sure you
like
care about that for the Escapist.
yeah, I guess so. My
Eh.
enthusiasm isn't super high for that one, but yeah, I could cover it.
It's looking pretty cool from the stuff that's going on. Oh, it's on screen right now. Dang, Eric is fast.
Oh yeah, how about that? Huh.
Yeah, it looks pretty neat. I think it's this year as well. So another freaking JRPG. Oh, wait, I think I said it earlier in the list.
I think so.
But yeah,
Fine.
are you guys ready to call it a day? We can. It's up to you. Unless you got some stories, Mary. What happened to you? What happened to you?
I started Stranger Things season 4.
Good.
So I was about to say, I was like, yeah, we can wrap it up because now I'm actually invested in a TV show, something that's not Fire Emblem.
There you go.
So
Yeah,
Feel that.
fine.
I'm only 2 episodes in, so I'm like, okay, I can probably go watch like 2, maybe 3 more before I turn Netflix off for the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I after I finish that, I'm catching back up on The Walking Dead. It's freaking the show that
Is it
never
worth
ends.
it?
Been years since I watched.
How far are
Yeah.
you exactly?
I
Like,
stopped watching, spoiler alert, even though it's been years,
Hmm.
the season after Rick left the
oh, okay.
series. So it's
That's
been a
probably like what,
while.
3 or 4 seasons.
3 or 4, I
Um,
think.
I mean, I think it's worth it, I guess. Like there's some episodes that are kind of pointless, but then there's like some really good moments where it's like, okay, this
Isn't
is
it,
freaking
like,
awesome.
almost done?
Yeah, like there's one
Okay.
more part of the final season that's coming out.
Okay. Maybe I'll
But
watch
then
it
there's
for
a bunch of
closure.
spin-offs coming, so it's not really ending.
I'm
Maybe
also
not.
equally sad. We never got a really legitimate video game adaptation of The Walking Dead. It's always
What?
been like these.
Telltale.
Nah, I meant like.
What do you mean,
Yeah.
nah? That's like the game of the year that year. Like, get the
I meant
hell
like.
out of here.
I meant
The
like
original
live in the
season's
world.
really good.
Like that's the kind of game that
I
I would want to actually play
I
as an RPG.
I heard the VR game's pretty good actually.
Oh yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, I have heard
Saints and
that too.
Sinners.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll give
they
that
made
a
a
shot.
second one, right?
Brett's played that quite a
They
bit.
announced it. I don't think it's out yet.
Mm.
Brett's gonna
Give
be
me a
mad
reason to boot
when
it.
he realizes we talked about Breath of the Wild because he's playing it right now. He's like 20 hours in, and we also talked about
Nice.
this random Walking Dead game that he's playing right now, and he's not here.
No, he said it last time. He said him and his son have been playing it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
He
got
said
it for his
it
birthday.
doesn't have the it doesn't have the best graphics, but it at least has some good gameplay. It would probably make me boot up my Oculus Quest because I played it like twice during quarantine.
all of the tech analysis people, the insiders, are saying that Sony's next VR is going to be like a huge step up over even all the recent VR stuff. So I think I might finally jump in when that comes out if they announce that Resident Evil 4 and Half-Life are going to be on it. Then I'll get it because those are the two games I'm most interested in with VR. But yeah,
Yep.
John, any final
Yep.
thoughts?
We're devastatingly handsome.
Yes, we are. All right, guys. This has been a very strange episode.
A Stranger Things episode.
Exactly. Definitely go watch Stranger Things.
Next week's
and-
episode will just be a Stranger Things recap, full
Yeah.
on spoilers discussion. No
Now,
video game.
I've been
Have a
thinking
week.
about doing some like one-off bonus episodes to post on like when does this go up? Tuesday night, to post on like Thursday night or Friday night, and like have it be like a very specific topic. Like I just do Fire Emblem with Mary, and that only goes up on the audio feed. So I think that would be cool. Not it wouldn't be like a constant thing, but just like a bonus episode every now and then, like the state of Apex Legends, where Greg can just go all out and talk about Apex Legends instead of just like telling us what he's doing for 30 seconds and then we move on.
Brett, slow down.
And then John, the state of his insanity. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear the state of RPGs or something along those lines.
What if I
Yeah.
just do unpaid advertising for my own game every time? So
That'd be cool.
this week on
No,
my
the
video
state of
game.
John.
The life of an indie developer. That's a bonus
Yeah.
episode right there.
Yeah, kind of. Except like
That's
I always feel goofy like even thinking of myself as an indie developer because I do exactly zero of the coding. That's all my brother.
Yeah.
Like I mean the ideas mostly come from me and like I'm writing the entire script, but when it comes to physically like making the game exist, that's not me.
I mean, I've heard a lot of just like developers in general say that like anyone on the team is a part of the development team. So you are an indie developer, whether you like it or not.
You've
At least
been knighted.
hypothetically. I'll
Alright,
embrace
guys.
it once the game's done.
Yeah. Which will hopefully be in the next 5 years.
Maybe.
10.
Greg, if people want to know where to find you, where can they go?
You can find me on all my social channels, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram at dynamite_giraffe. And to briefly answer the question that was asked earlier, how to get the best use out of your Switch, go get an Ethernet dongle. It'll save your life. And
or
I just
a
wish,
Switch OLED model.
yeah, I just wish the Switch had more USB ports. And over on, did I say Twitch? At dynamite_giraffe.
Nice.
Yeah.
John, what about you? Where can people go? Actually, I did want to say the Ethernet stuff with the Switch OLED model. I like it because Smash is better, but since I game share with my kids, like they're always on my account, I constantly have to go in airplane mode before I play my game. So I boot up the game and then I flip on airplane mode. But then if I put it in the dock with the Ethernet cord connected to it, it'll automatically connect to the internet, and we'll just keep booting each other out of our games. So I just want to say that really sucks. Now, John, where can people go to find you?
They can go wherever they want to find me. I'm finding them actually. I'm with them right
Oh.
now. Whether they
He's
know
right
it or
outside your window.
Not. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm making my game Boss Saga. Find it if you want. Just Google it. I don't feel like talking about where it is. But I'm actually going to spend 5 seconds real quick to give one more game recommendation because the sale on the eShop is about to end. I will even link it in the chat. There is a game on sale for $3 right now called Strikey Sisters. It is a game like old school Breakout, but the pixel art is like it screams Super Nintendo game 100%, and it's beautiful and it's just extremely fun, and it's co-op if you want it to be.
Nice.
And it is like the best $3 you could ever spend. Even at full price, it's only $10. And I love this game. And every time anyone ever asks like what's a hidden gem of the Nintendo Switch, I always say it's this game Strikey Sisters, and you can buy it for $3 right now. The end.
Awesome. And Mary, what about you?
You can find me over on the Destructoid TikTok making some fun videos. You can also find me on Twitch and Twitter. Mary wants a cookie.
Awesome.
I never
And dude,
I never have good outros. Yeah, those are always so interesting.
I was gonna say, that person who asked that question, they probably like sent that and then like left immediately. As we talked about it for like so
Are you
long,
still
and they probably
here?
never,
The VOD
they
it will
probably
be
never
there
heard any of
though.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
The true
And if you want to
believers
find
will
me,
hear it.
yeah, we're making lots of funny videos over on the Destructoid TikTok, and yeah, we just posted our first 57-second review with Jack Thompson. He's this guy who does freelance for us. He's a wacky guy, so definitely go check him out in his 57-second reviews.
you
And
guys
aside from that,
related?
we have another. Huh?
I thought you were
Are
talking
you
about
guys
that
related?
crazy lawyer.
Yeah, it's Jack Thompson, the crazy lawyer. John, you're exactly right. He's freelancing
Well-
for us, doing game reviews.
Wouldn't that be amazing though? You could get so much traffic.
He looks like he puts mayonnaise on everything.
I don't think he
I think
does.
the guy
I don't
was
think
like-
he likes mayonnaise.
He was he was so crazy. He was actually disbarred. So like, yeah, give that guy a
Good
job.
Lord.
So yeah, he used to hate video games. Now he's a part of the industry, and he's the smartest game journalist around. So definitely go check out his reviews over on TikTok. Yeah, and follow me on Twitter at BrettNLL. This has been Spot Dodge. But first, before we go, thank you, Eric, for running the show. I forgot to mention you at
Yes,
the top.
thank you, Eric.
Thank you,
Thank
Eric.
you.
Much appreciated.
We love you, and goodbye, everybody.
See ya.
Hey guys.